73% of people can't answer this question honestly. Could you get your hands on $400 in cash within the next 24 hours without borrowing from anyone? Not $4,000, not $40,000, just $400. The cost of a car repair, one emergency vet visit, a single broken appliance. That's the test. That's the whole test. If you felt a knot in your stomach just reading that question, you're not alone. And if you felt completely confident, stick around, because what you're about to learn might still surprise you. Here's the stat that broke me when I first saw it. 73% of adults cannot pass this test. Nearly 3 out of every 4 people are one small emergency away from a genuine financial crisis. That's not 73% of people living in poverty. That's not 73% of minimum wage workers. That's 73% of all American adults, including people who earn 6 figures. The $400 test doesn't measure how much you earn. It measures something far more important, and almost nobody is talking about it. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what this test reveals, why most people fail it, no matter their income, and the exact system used to permanently pass it. And if you fail this test right now, that's not a life sentence. That's just your starting line. Let's get into it. Meet Marcus, 34 years old, $72,000 a year. Good job, nice car, goes out on weekends. By every external measure, Marcus looks financially fine. Marcus has $47 in his checking account. Last Tuesday, Marcus's transmission started slipping. The repair bill, $430. He put it on a credit card charging 27% interest. He'll be paying that $430 back for 8 months. That's not a bad luck story. That's a structural story. Marcus isn't irresponsible. Marcus is living a design flaw, a financial architecture that looks stable but is one event from collapse. And Marcus is not unusual. He's the majority. Across the country, people earning $50,000, $80,000, even $120,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck with nothing in reserve. We've built an entire culture around looking wealthy while being financially fragile. The car is leased, the vacation was financed, the watch is on a payment plan. The root cause isn't debt, it isn't low income, it isn't bad spending habits. Those are symptoms. The root cause is the absence of margin, the gap between what you earn and what you owe every month. When your margin is zero, you have no shock absorber. Every unexpected expense, a hospital copay, a plane ticket for a funeral, a laptop that breaks, becomes a crisis instead of an inconvenience. And here's the devastating part. Every crisis handled with debt makes the next crisis more likely. You borrow to survive today, and tomorrow is harder than yesterday. That's not bad luck. That's a compounding trap. This is why the $400 test matters. It's not about $400. It's a diagnostic. It tells you whether your financial architecture is built on margin or built on hope. 2 people. Both earn $85,000 a year. Person A saves 18 months of expenses. Person B saves nothing. Same income. Completely different financial reality. This is the thing almost nobody teaches you. The $400 test splits every person watching this into 2 groups, not by what they earn, by what they keep. And the gap between those 2 groups is not talent, it's design. So what's actually happening beneath the surface? The answer is a concept I call the margin gap. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The margin gap is the distance between your income and your true fixed obligations. Most people have accidentally closed that gap to zero, and they did it one affordable commitment at a time. Here's how it happens. You get a raise, $500 more a month. You upgrade your car payment, $300 more a month. New streaming services, a gym membership, delivery subscriptions, another $180. Net margin gained, $20. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. Every income increase is almost immediately absorbed by a proportional spending increase. Income goes up, lifestyle goes up, margin stays flat or shrinks. You feel richer because you're spending more, but your emergency buffer is still zero. Now here's the mental model that changes everything. I call it the three-layer financial stack. Every person's finances exist on one of three layers, and only one of them passes the $400 test consistently. Layer 1, survival mode. Income covers expenses. Barely, no savings, one emergency from crisis. This is where 73% of people live, including many high earners. The $400 test fails here every single time. Layer 2, buffer mode. Income exceeds expenses by 10 to 20%. A small emergency fund exists. The $400 test passes, but a $4,000 emergency would still cause real damage. About 20% of people live here. Layer 3, margin mode. Income exceeds expenses by 30% or more. 18 or more months of expenses saved. The $400 test is irrelevant. It's background noise. About 7% of people operate here. This is the target. The difference between Layer 1 and Layer 3 is almost never income. It's a system. Decisions made once, running automatically in the background every month, without willpower. Here's what the system looks like. Step 1. Calculate your true monthly margin. Add up every fixed commitment, rent, car, subscriptions, minimum debt payments. Subtract from take-home pay. What's left is your real margin. Most people overestimate that number by $400 to $700 a month. Step 2. Expand the margin surgically. The three fastest ways: renegotiate or eliminate one subscription bundle, refinance or downgrade one vehicle payment, consolidate one debt into a lower-rate instrument. That's not a budget. That's surgery. One-time decisions that create permanent margin. Step 3. Automate it. The day you free up $500 in new monthly margin, set up an automatic transfer to a separate high-yield savings account the day after payday. Remove the decision entirely. At $500 a month, you have your first $400 emergency fund in 1 month. Your first $6,000 cushion in 12. That's the three-layer financial stack. Know which layer you're on. Find your real margin. Expand it. Automate the growth. Now let me show you what that looks like across real time. I want to show you the same 5-year period lived 2 different ways. Same starting salary, same city, same opportunities. One person ends up with $47 in checking. The other ends up with 18 months of expenses banked. Year 1. Average path gets a $65,000 job. Immediately finances a $28,000 car to match the new income. Monthly payment, $480. Emergency fund, $0. Margin, gone before it started. Year 1. Wealth path gets the same $65,000 job. Keeps the existing paid-off car for 2 more years. No car payment. Automates $600 per month to savings. Emergency fund after year 1, $7,200. Same income, same year. $7,200 gap. That's the margin gap in real dollars, created by one decision made differently on day 1. Year 3. Average path gets a raise to $72,000. Immediately upgrades to a better apartment, $400 more per month. Buys new furniture on financing. Monthly margin, still 0. Total debt now, $8,400. Year 3, wealth path, gets the same raise. Increases automated savings to $900 per month. Buys a used car upgrade, cash. Total savings, $24,600. First investment account opened. At year 3, the gap is $33,000 in net financial position. One person has $8,400 in debt and 0 savings. The other has $24,600 saved and 0 consumer debt. Same job, same city, same salary. Year 5, average path, disruption hits, job at risk, 2 months of uncertainty, desperate calls to family, just survives. Year 5. Wealth path, same disruption, same job risk. 18 months of expenses and savings means 18 months of time to think clearly, negotiate well, and choose deliberately. Calm in the storm. The word for what the wealth path person has is not wealth, it's optionality. The freedom to say no, the freedom to wait, the freedom to choose. That is what $400 in an emergency account actually buys you. And here's the brutal irony. The average path person worked harder over those 5 years. More hours, more stress, more side hustles, and ended up further behind. Effort without architecture is just exhaustion. Here's what actually changes when you go from failing the $400 test to passing it permanently. It's not your bank balance. It's your entire relationship with risk, time, and other people's urgency. When you have margin, you stop making decisions from desperation. You don't take the job you hate because you need the paycheck next week. You don't stay in the bad situation because you can't afford to leave. Margin doesn't just change your finances, it changes what you're willing to tolerate. The transformation is also cognitive. Financial stress consumes a significant portion of your working memory when you're in crisis mode. When that clears, people sleep better, think more clearly, and show up more fully, not because they have more money, but because they have more mental space. And the compound math is simple. $500 per month automated savings for 10 years invested at a modest return becomes nearly $96,000. The same $500 spent servicing debt becomes zero. Same dollars, completely different futures. So here is the 30-day protocol. 3 actions. That's it. Day 1. Run the margin audit. List every fixed monthly obligation. Subtract from take-home pay. Write the real number down. Most people have never done this once in their life. Day 7. Identify your top 3 margin expansion opportunities. Not cuts. Restructures. 1 subscription bundle, 1 debt consolidation, 1 negotiated bill. Find $300 to $500 in margin you can free up permanently. Day 30. Open a separate high-yield savings account, not at your main bank. Name it something that means something to you. Optionality fund. Freedom buffer. Set the automatic transfer. Walk away. At 6 months, you have $3,000. At 12 months, you have $6,000. At 18 months, you are in the 7% of people who operate in Layer 3. The system runs without you. The buffer grows quietly, and $400 emergencies stop being emergencies. Here's what I want you to sit with. 73% of people will watch this, nod along, and do nothing, because they think the problem is information. It's not. The problem is the first decision never gets made. Financial security is not a destination. It's a posture. It's a set of decisions made in advance so that when life tests you, and it will test you, you're already ready. The $400 test is a mirror. It shows you exactly where you stand right now, not where you wish you stood. Right now. And now is the only place change ever starts. You are now the type of person who understands that financial security isn't about how much you earn. It's about the margin you protect. You know the 3-layer financial stack. You know which layer you're on. That awareness is the beginning of everything. Your one action from this video. Tonight, before you sleep, run the margin audit. Write down your real monthly margin number. That single number will tell you more about your financial future than your salary ever could. Passing the $400 test is just the beginning. Layer 2 is safety. Layer 3 is freedom. And between where you are right now and Layer 3 is a system, not a miracle. Watch the next video. The system starts there.